Black Game 2, handing it on over to Tasty Bacon and Eigh.
Here we go, the final game of the All-Star Weekend, the final game for these professional teams before we get to the World Championships. Who is going to come out on top? Will it be Vertigo Black, the newest team to enter the Evil 8, or will it be the first ever North American champions in Liberation X? We're going to find out this reverse draft, and I got to agree with the analysts. I really feel like Vertigo kind of gave Liberation a pretty strong composition.
Yeah, that Rhyme and Finn were pretty solid when Rhyme first came out, and I think it still stands because Rhyme had a buff like 1.23, I guess, so just not been seeing too much of him. But look at him go. Just look at him.
Doing a lot of work, and it's a double melee, but then Hamuel, like the Munions are the main source of damage for the pedal, and those are melee, so Rhyme's gonna have no troubles whatsoever as he already picks up that first kill. Now the Ozo is gonna be getting taken out. Rhyme is just telling everyone to get off his lawn.
Only way Vertigo Black could have given Liberation X a better draft is to have given them Crystal Box. Because that would have just completely annihilated them with all the wolves and the Munions. But I guess Finn, Rhyme, and the Baron is pretty good because Baron's really strong in the late game. And status on the Rhyme just makes it pretty tough for them to get going in the jungle anyway from pretty early on. So Vertigo Black, they kind of, I guess they drafted themselves here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, I'm kind of confused as to why they gave such a strong draft over to their opponents. I mean, it's not like there was someone else picking for them to pick a strong composition.
What would you have picked if you were picking?
If I was actually trying to pick, like, the worst composition for my opponents?
Yeah.
Actually a tough choice because, like, there's so many heroes in Vainglory that are actually a lot more effective than what people give them credit for.
Yeah.
I think you would have to just try and go with like something that doesn't have a lot of damage at base. Like really bad scaling. I feel like would be your key to success.
I think it's really balanced right now, so I'm kind of struggling to think of someone who'd be really bad, like level 1.
Well, see, I don't think you necessarily want someone who's bad level 1. I think you want people who fall off really hard late.
But even then, the only one I can really think of is Koshka, she doesn't really fall off as much as she used to anymore, so tough. Well, Archaic,
right now, Archaic and Evol is going to be taking a good amount of damage here as it's a 2-0 lead to start things off for the side of Liberation. I feel like my opponent's composition would include a Rona somewhere.
Rona's pretty good though.
But Rona is really good in certain compositions, and if you just don't put a lot of CC with her, she really isn't able to do a whole.
I guess so, but I still think Rona's really strong because, like, if he just gets a chance to go into 1v3, and I guess, yeah, I think I'm gonna disagree with you on there. I think Rona's pretty solid.
No, I love Rona, but I feel like if you don't have crowd control with her, then she just isn't really able to stick
doesn't
on
need
targets.
crowd control. She is crowd control.
She
totally is crowd control.
She is not crowd control.
You just see her and you just have to start running for the pills. You're like, Rona's after me. And she just like if she gets a shiver, so you just can't get away.
Have to agree to disagree on that one. But...
Okay. I see how it is, Bacon. I see.
Like I said, there's comps where I love her.
Oh, okay.
But
whatever.
Not on her own.
Well, I think Vertigo just picked up their first kill while we're agreeing about Rona.
Yeah, well, they are going to be able to get that kill, and first blood on the map for them. It does go over to Archaic on this Ozo. It is going to be a Crystal Ozo, so much misaligned from humanists' thoughts on how the Ozo should be built this game. And I'm going to be inclined to agree with you, Miss there. I feel like you need that movement speed. And the weapon scaling on the movement speed from Acro Bounce is like so important when you're dealing with a Rhyme that I just don't know if Archaic is really going to be able to survive very much against that old Iceman.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think the weapon Ozo would have been much better. And then going in, because Hamuel's already going Crystal as well, I think it would just made more logistical sense as well in that respect. But I think two members of Vertigo Black are a bit caught out on They're not. I don't think they're going to get any kills off the back of it though. But I think definitely by the late game, Vertigo Black will probably be struggling a lot against this composition that they've given Liberation X, just because they're already doing quite well with it, and Status is just running rampant. Like, they really just can't touch him, and the only person that really can is Hamiel. But then, like you said, the Munions are melee, so they're just in a very sticky position here with this draft.
Yeah, it's a self-inflicted position that they're going to be in. Again, they are the ones that chose what Liberation would be playing. Right now, Finn going to be moving up along with Joker on this Baron, getting a lot of damage done onto Archaic. We'll see if they can start getting pressure onto this turret or not. That's obviously the ultimate goal, is to try and get those turrets destroyed so you can get at your opponent's Vein Crystal. But there's going to be an engagement coming in as Evolve jumps onto Joker, but Joker is able to just jump himself on right out to safety.
Yeah, he can. I think also once we get further and further into the late game, they're really going to struggle to get on top of Joker because of his distance and the scaling coming out from the weapon power. So much Hamiel, no chance there. This is going to be struggling because I really struggle to see how an Ozo and Fortress are really going to make any impact against this Rhyme and Finn combo. You can just pin them down so easily. But look at the force-fied health is just too much.
That really is, and I mean, Status is going to be dropping that Valkyrie down. It does get a good hit onto the members of Vertigo, but they've actually got some good damage here. With the Evolve jumping back in, they're going to be able to actually find the kill. There just wasn't quite enough damage for the members of Liberation to be able to answer that. So, despite the fact that it looked like they weren't going to be able to, it's a kill for another kill for Archaic and Vertigo. But Marto, when he hits that Quibble still, it did get nerfed in its early game damage, but it still hurts.
Yeah, we've got this exciting 1v1 chase right now between Joker and Evil. But Evil's going to get away right now. But there's another also equally exciting chase going on between Archaic and the two members of Liberation X, which you won't be able to get away from.
Yeah, Status was able to rejoin this, and that will be a kill as Marto drops the anchor and gets himself a kill. 5-2 in favor of Liberation X here, 7.5 minutes in.
Yeah, and Status, now that he has his Eve of Harvest, I think a little bit more sustainable, has the energy a little bit more, and I think we can expect him to be living a little bit longer as well. But right now, I think I'm just really waiting on Joker to get that breaking point, because once he does get that breaking point, I think that's what we commonly see a lot of the Barons going for. Once you get those two key items, the Sorrow Blade and the breaking point, that's when it becomes really difficult for the opponents, just because it's so easy for him to build up the breaking point stacks, and they really can't touch him unless he gets into range personally.
Yeah, it's the Sorrow Blade, Breaking Point, and then Tyrant's Monocle as the third item. Like, Baron just becomes a monster at that point. But right now, lots of damage being dished out from Vertigo. They're able to find a kill. Marto is getting taken down very low as well. The Wolves doing work. So many extra units on the fold for the side of Vertigo Black. Wolves, Munions, oh my.
Everything.
We need a third hero that like spawns creatures, just so we can have a full, we have all full stealth now, and then we can get all, what you would even call that?
Triplets?
All summons?
Triplets.
Triplets?
Triplets.
Could it be triplets?
Because they're producing triplets of everything.
But maybe maybe the one that comes out doesn't produce 3.
Well, it should. I think it... Or like one that can duplicate itself. That'd be really cool.
That would be terrifying.
Yeah, and then you don't know who to go for. But I don't know if that's going to happen. I wish it would, though. I think that'd make it really fun. But you're right. Summons was your suggestion?
Yeah, summons. Summon.
Okay, so, they get the turret. So looks like they're equalizing again. Joker doesn't have enough gold for that breaking point just yet. I think he needs a little bit more. But he has enough to get the heavy steel for the breaking point anyway. And I think for the fights, we kind of want to be seeing full 3-on-3 fights, because right now what's happening is a bit of 2v3 situations, 1v2 situations. And I think when it gets to the 3v3 fights, we can definitely expect Liberation X to be coming off a little bit better.
What if there was a hero that made the other two heroes look like... Instead of like making new like units, just copied their appearance to your allies? That could be interesting. But right now, there's going to be a big fight here. It's 2v3 but they are going to be finding the kill. Joker now joining the fight a bit late, but still able to find a kill, but only one. Those wolves and minions are just doing so much work. Marto, they just burn right through that tankiness and take down the Finn. That is an ace for the side of Vertigo. And Liberation X, again, fighting that fully 2v3. It wasn't until Status was already dead that Joker really joined the fight.
I guess kind of not quite the 3v3 situation I was looking for, because again, it was a little bit staggered. I think one thing that definitely needs to be done, and we're not seeing enough coming out from Liberation X, is prioritization of shield, because they are against a double crystal comp, and Status is only one of the two carries to have any shield. Joker, he's going to be a main target of focus, and he really does need to get that Aegis relatively soon, maybe even just getting an Aegis and then even more shield on top of that, just to help him survive a little bit longer. You would think, though, with that long range, he shouldn't be touched, but they are able to close the gap on him quite a lot with Archaic.
And well, there's going to be another fight, another engagement. This time, Joker is able to get on the backlines, be involved from the start. So much healing for Archaic, though. That perk for Ozo is doing wonders for him. There's going to be a jump in onto Joker. Fountain of Renewal comes out, but not in time to save Joker. It's a 1-for-1. Status trying to get onto Hamuel. Will eventually be able to get there and get that shutdown. And meanwhile, down in the jungle, it's the Roams going at it, trying to chase each other down. Eval gets a little bit of movement speed as he uses that A on the minion mine, trying to just juke around Marto, make sure he misses with that quibble. Marto not falling for it, does eventually use the quibble, but isn't able to connect. However, Status is here, cuts off the escape path for Eval. Eval has already completely prevented an ace coming out. He jumps over the wall, but so does Joker, and that will be the kill now. And you almost wonder, did he wait too long? Because now members of Liberation are going to have a little bit of free time, while Archaic and Hamuel have to worry about a 2 versus 3.
Yeah, well, the thing is, one good thing going for them is that Stasis is looking a little bit low in terms of energy. Health-wise, he's beginning to regen a bit of it back up, thanks to that Eigh. But I think, this is definitely a good situation for Liberation X to fight, but what we're seeing is that Vertigo Black definitely recognizes they're just staying well back, and that's exactly what they need to do until Eval is ready to join them, and then maybe they can think about going in for the next fight. What we are seeing, though, is Archaic trying to go into Joker every single time, and Joker's able to zone them back. There's so much preventing him from getting onto him, and I think that's the kind of the problem, is that the late game scaling from Liberation X is super strong.
Well, we'll see if they're going to be able to find a fight. Forced Accord does get blocked. However, Archaic is eating so much damage. Joker jumps into the thick of things. There's the attack of the pack, and again, Archaic is just able to heal so much. A big ultimate coming out from Joker, though, is going to net a double kill. Hamuel, the only member left. I really want to see Liberation X target someone other than Archaic at the start of these fights. Hamuel. Because Archaic is just able to heal up so much that all the damage they do initially just gets completely negated, and it makes these fights a lot closer than they really seem to be.
I definitely agree. Hamuel's a major threat. He's able to continually poke away, and especially if you have someone like Finn in the same where you do have that force of core, you can pull Hamuel in. I guess he does have the trampoline, but especially once you get into the late game, the cooldowns on that force core is short enough. And I think Martel won't make it out of this 1v1 chase.
Are going to be able to pick up the kill onto Marto. So now Joker is going to be just using those attacks to try and get something done, but has to back away, knowing that there's a risk of getting jumped on. So all advantages going each way, but it feels like just more consistently for Vertigo. However, the later this game gets, I do agree with you. I feel like those late game from Liberation X is going to be stronger than what Vertigo can do. So the further this goes, I think the more it slowly starts to lean towards Liberation.
And I think it does come to maybe part of the reason why it's not going so well for Liberation X right now is the target prioritization. And before that, it just felt like all three of them weren't going to the fight. It felt like 2v3s before the third member would join in. And if you just started the fight off with a full 3-on-3, then perhaps it would have been a little bit different. But I'm really worried about Joker's positioning right now, like super far forward.
And they are going to be looking to dive onto Joker underneath the turret, but it's just Joker, so they get that dive. The ultimate does come through and drops Archaic very low. but he's Ozo, and everything is available to keep him alive, so I don't think he's going to really care too much. Marto is taking a lot of damage as well, getting dropped very low. They're going to go for the dive. Archaic jumping underneath the turret. Doesn't even care about that turret. They are going to find the kill. Archaic does go down. Evol is going to be falling as well, and Status should be able to clean up these wolves, but it ends up being a 2 for 2, so maybe a little bit too aggressive from the side of Vertigo.
A little bit too aggressive from the side of Liberation X as well. Like, the positioning coming out from Joker at the start of that was very, very poor. He was super far ahead. He does have the jump jets, but when you have that many gap closing abilities on your enemy team, you do have to be very careful. And he was caught out. He did manage to get the kill. Fortunately, Stasis was there to turn around for them, so it ended up being a 2 for 2 trade. But I think all in all, we do want to be seeing a little bit more, I guess, coordination in the team fights coming out from Liberation X, because this is a comp that they definitely have the advantage with, but we're not seeing it come out so far at all.
Yeah, and well, maybe Vertigo were actually secretly onto something with this draft. With this, the fact that they have a small lead in terms of the gold. They are behind in kills, but we've seen multiple times where kills are not the end-all be-all in Vainglory. However, there's a Forced Accord just pulling in some munions, and that's about it.
That is about it. Well, 48 seconds before the next one's out. Actually, Joker, what's your positioning?
And they are going to be finding a nice chunk of damage there onto Evil. Archaic dropped extremely low. He's going to get that healing. Is it going to be enough, though? A nice bangerang onto Joker. Pops him into the middle team. Where was Status during all of this? As he finally joins the fight, but is not going to be able to get out of here alive, even with a very nice Valkyrie placement. He's still extremely healthy, but I just don't think he can take the full-on 1v3. However, Archaic is going to be low. Status is still alive. He gets one. He gets two. Status, is he going to pull this off? There's no energy for Hamuel, and he has no munions. Oh my goodness, Status. He is going to be consistently slowed up, but he is going to do it and makes the triple kill. 1v3. What in the world just happened?
I was about to diss him because I was like, Stasis, where were you for that whole fight? Because at the start of it, he just went the long way around to join the rest of his teammates, and by the time he did, both of them had died. But he managed to turn that one around very nicely with the Valkyrie. He was able to root them all. And Hammy, because he had no energy, wasn't able to get out of the range of Stasis' attacks. And it was a great turnaround for them, but I can't help feeling that it would have gone a lot better had Stasis just went the short way and helped his teammates a little bit earlier on.
Oh my goodness, Status with a triple kill on the Rhyme. That is why you do not underestimate the power of a Rhyme into a composition like this. Like I said, you have the two melees. Rhyme does really well into melees. And then you kill all the munions, and Petal becomes literally useless. And those munions, they're in melee. Oh, if you catch Hamuel out on his own, Petal is literally useless as well. They now can turn their attention onto Evol and Ozo. They drop Ozo, and Archaic is not going to be alive to try and help defend this turret. No minions, no problem, as Liberation X take down that tier 3 turret.
Yeah, they probably won't be able to go for the Kraken. They might, and I think they actually should, because I think they can get down. They've got a lot of damage coming from Status and Joker that I feel like that they could get the Kraken down, but I'm not sure if they are. I would like to see them do it, because if they could take it down really, really fast and just go for that final push and just use the Kraken buff to go with it. But it looks like they're just taking a little bit more of a cautious route. They're going to do it. Great.
They are going to be starting up this Kraken. It's not going to be the quickest of Kraken takes, but once Joker starts getting these shots in, he's actually doing quite a big chunks of Kraken's health there. So
doing good.
Should be able to take it. They do get Kraken Unleashed, and now Evol, gets pulled in. Does get the ultimate off, but when you're on your own like that, those wolves are not going to really do all that much work. Joker, could you just turn and hit the wolf, please? Thank you. But he does end up taking down Evol. They have Kraken now making her way into the base as well.
Ouch.
And Liberation X should be able to close this one out. Hamuel taking a ton of damage there, but does get onto the Sanctuary to heal up. Now Archaic gonna try and make a play happen. This turret is under siege. Archaic is now under siege as well. And then Joker does finish off Hamuel at the Sanctuary. The turret goes down, and it's just Archaic to try and make the 1v3 play, but he is no Rhyme. That will be, oh, a beautiful hook into the Baron ult. Doesn't actually do much damage, but Kraken full health onto this final turret. That's going to go down, and now the Crystal Liberation X. They come back together just a few times a year for these all-star matchups, but they continue to keep the streak alive.
What a beautiful streak it is, and I've got to say that that one play coming out from Stasis was just heavenly. That 1v3, where we're like, he's never going to get Hamuel. Oh, great. We thought it was great when you got Archaic and Evo, but to get Hamuel on top of that, just turn it around for them, because the whole time it just felt like, although Liberation X had the composition to do really well, they weren't really working together to make it work, if that makes sense. But by the end, they just really turned it around, and it was just so confidently that they just steamrolled the last 5 minutes of that game.
Yeah, the composition finally came online, and they were able to just, I mean, they dominated those last few minutes and picking up the victory. But that's going to do it for the All-Star weekend here. We're going to send it back over to the analyst desk one last time to round it out, take care of any last giveaways that need to be done, and all that sort of fun stuff. So thank you once again for a wonderful season here at the Evil 8. It's been an honor to cast these All-Star matches today with you, Jinyi, and Humanist, Action Jackson, and Fuji. Take it away.
Thank you very much, guys. It was great having you to cast them. We are now done with not just the All-Stars matches, but actually the entirety of the autumn season. That was this is our last broadcast for it. So
wow,
cool stuff. Interesting game though. Let's break it down real quick before we depart.